Do.
Yeah, you're cutting us in again. I feel like you should do a different song every time we start one of these.
I don't know different songs. I
Just
know
learn a different song for every
I
episode.
can't learn different songs. I only know those Dragon Ball songs. Okay.
Well, I mean, this is a nice pace I'm
Dragon,
writing.
Dragon.
Yeah, see? You're getting it. There's plenty of
Yeah,
Dragon
yeah.
Ball
I'll
songs.
just sing different Dragon Ball
Alright,
songs. That
teammate,
makes
you
sense.
stay up there. I'm gonna go kill those guys. So
Um.
today we're talking about the decline of games like Fortnite and other big major titles like Overwatch, Call of Duty, some mid-tier titles like Among Us. I mean, I would say Fortnite's probably I've been on a decline in what the last 3 seasons now.
Not even the last 3 seasons. Looking at a chart of Fortnite player base and loss, it's been declining since early 2021, man.
I understand that. I mean, they don't really do stuff to make the game like better, so to speak. They do stuff to like, how do you put it? Like, they don't really like the stuff they do to like quote unquote advance the game. I don't know. It's like not stuff that's like I would deem necessary sometimes. I don't know if that makes sense. Like,
Well, I think it's just hit this point in its life cycle where there's only so much stuff you can do with a battle royale based game. There's only so many items you can add, and every item they add feels kind of repetitive, and every new mode, there's nothing truly new anymore.
no, that is true. It is very like
And I think that is a problem with a lot of games recently, is they've been running for long enough now to where they hit this kind of peak on what they can add and what they can change, and there isn't, like, I don't know if there's a seeable way out of it for Fortnite, because obviously they, like, changing Fortnite as a whole doesn't make sense.
I mean, they sort of
If
tried that
you
with the no build mode by adding that in. You kind of think
And
about it.
I think that's probably where that peak comes in of like a gain back. Because when did No Build come out? Let me
I think
look
that was
this.
2021 around the time that last peak or whatever happened. My thing is what they should do. Like, I know it sounds weird, but I think for this game, for the decline to end, for that they to kind of go forward, they need to go backwards, and they need to hit the OG map or something. I think that's the only way you're going to get old players in is now just nostalgia.
I think that that's still, even if they did do that
But that's
though,
only a short-term fix, yeah.
yeah, that's a very temporary kind of fix. So No Build definitely had a peak when it came out, which is good to see, and Fortnite gained actually a profit that month. Um, because it came out in 2022, uh, and its daily peak was like its peak players in a day was 24,000. Sorry, not thousand. I read that wrong. 24,391,000 players.
It's
So
probably not even
that
touching that now, right?
now its monthly is 20. Its monthly average is 231 million, which is, let me go back to this right here, March 2022, which is almost 40,000. I mean, not 40, I keep saying thousand, 40 million less, and its daily peak is only 15 million compared to the 24 million.
So they've lost 11 million players on their daily.
And mind you, another crazy thing is there has been a monthly profit loss of what looks to be or sorry, not profit loss, but a monthly player loss of 6 million just this month, which is wild to see, as the fact that this was a month where the battle pass renewed again.
It was
and
it
it
was a
seems
bad
like,
battle pass, and I think that's part of the problem they have is it
yeah,
seems like one of the things is it's not just it's hit like a peak, but it's almost like they run out of ideas.
mhm, definitely. And I think that this kind of shows the issue with the battle pass system as a whole is like after so long of doing it, there's nothing you can add that's gonna top what you did last. You know what I mean?
No,
Uh,
yeah.
but it seems like the largest loss of players in a month was February this year, with 16 million lost in that month alone.
Damn, I got clapped. Come on, teammate, you got him. He's low. Don't let him run.
But
Bruh.
other than this last one, it feels like there's a kind of a trend of correlating with gaining players around when new battle passes come out. And this last battle pass genuinely didn't gain them anything. If
It
anything,
was,
more
I
people
mean, they
left.
thought, nothing against him as a creator or as a person or anything, but I think they thought Kavi Lame was going to pull in a bunch of like little kids from TikTok and that, and it's like
Mhm.
he's not, how do I put it? Because it's not that he's not popular, but to me, he's like the ninja like type creator where like that he should have just been in his own little like bundle type thing. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And like they should lean back into trying to get some cooler skins in the battle pass, but don't necessarily lean into just licensed skins either. Like, or if you're gonna do license, stop doing like the same 3 licenses like Star Wars, Marvel, and DC. Not that I hate those things, but it's like mix it
Mhm.
up. You know, because I think one of the
Yes.
things that was helping for a little was the anime collabs, because a lot of people did
Yeah.
enjoy the.
Oh yeah. No, I like the last time I played was that last Dragon Ball collab. Um,
And I think people
and that was
genuinely
the last time
enjoy
I think
that
I
stuff.
spent money on the game.
Because I think that's the only time people genuinely enjoy it now is when they bring in like a property. Because it's like we all like Spider-Man, we all like stuff like that, but it's like I think you got to do more variety. But
Well,
like,
there's like how many Spider-Man skins? I feel like there's like 6 or 7 Spider-Man
yeah,
skins
they do too
alone.
much of the same. That's what I mean. And it's like there's not enough. To me, there's not enough variety in the skins and the like. And I know skins aren't going to
Yeah.
make or break the game necessarily, but I think it does help because when somebody can play as like a character or, you know, like a person they like from whatever property, they're more likely to go seek that out and want to play the game. Because I knew people
Hmm.
who literally like got back on the game just to buy the Dragon Ball skins or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I knew a dude, he literally got on to
Absolutely.
buy the, I mean, I'll save the code, but I'm not buying anything at the moment. But when I do, I'll definitely use his name next because I do plan on getting the pass, so I'll throw it up there, you know, when I do all that. Because this stream is going to get re-uploaded to YouTube. Which, by the way, if you're new here or on the YouTube, leave a follow on Twitch, leave a sub on YouTube. Comment down below either way. Let us know what you think about the topics being discussed today here at the DawnCast International. I think that's a great name for it. What do you think, Sybil? DawnCast International.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right though. Like, there's not really much they can do. Like, with, I mean, I've heard people suggest like they add in like other types of modes, like somebody was talking about like a racing type mode with its own pass. But I was like, but that seems like something they should do for Rocket League if they're gonna do that.
Yeah, well, and it feels like they kind of encompassed any mode you could already have with the creative mode, as they gave people the freedom to essentially create anything they wanted, and you can play almost anything. Heck, I saw some people playing the game of life on creative mode a couple
I
days
think a good
back.
idea would maybe bring in more like they bring in the licensed skins, they do all that, but why not bring in some more licensed locations? Like, you know how cool Raccoon City would have been as a location?
Hmm. Yeah, that would have been cool, but all of these still feel like very temporary solutions for the overlying problem of the content, like the base core aspect of the game, just isn't cutting it anymore.
Because
People
Battle
have played
Royale is
themselves out
kind
on
of,
Battle Royale in
yeah.
general.
I mean, Fortnite's the only one that's really still going, and Battle Royale in itself is
And
like,
even it's heavy declining. Like the player count does not lie.
I don't know what
I
they could
mean,
really do. The only thing they could do is take the idea, like the property of Fortnite, and maybe make a new game that's not a battle royale, but then that's kind of back to just the creative, unless they introduce like a full-on new mode.
yeah. And this isn't in any way, I don't want to make it clear that we're not in any way saying Fortnite is fully dead. It still has a very strong player count, more than most games. It's just the to decline is,
Compared to when it was like the largest property in the world.
I mean, from its peak in 2021, which is as far back as I can go, but it looks like that is where it peaked because it was still growing in that time. Its peak in 2021 all the way, it lost 60 million people from its peak to now. That's a wild amount to lose.
This dude finally comes
And
in.
it's
Where's he at?
gotten so much faster over the past year. Like there's been a lot more heavy fast loss. Like there's multiple points where I can point out where they've lost almost in the tens of millions in a single month.
No, yeah, it's not been going great for them, like, player-wise. I don't know. You're probably right. At this point, I don't know if there's much they can do to like recover the player base because you're seeing it. People come back for the pass, but then like the passes have been lackluster, so it's like, and that's definitely gonna hit them. Like it's gonna create, like even though it already is, you're gonna get a heavier like, how do you want to put it? Like a heavier like the law of diminishing returns, you know what I mean? Like it's going to have a heavier presence now because
absolutely,
like not only are battle passes only going to be able to like keep it going, you know, over and over for so long, but then like on top of it, like most of the battle passes have not been great. So you're going to have like
I'm definitely going to let you speak on the battle passes and how they have been lately because I know like I haven't touched.
Oh no, yeah, like so what it is with the battle passes is I'm not saying every skin needs to be like, you know, a licensed cool skin like from a movie. But before it was like a nice mix, you get a couple licensed skin or a licensed skin and it'd be something really cool and then you would get like, you know, some really innovative looking creative like skins they would come up with. But it just seems like these last ones, it's like the most basic looking like characters for the like original skins. And then the licensed skins will be something like not everybody can really like, obviously not everyone's going to agree with every skin they add, but it's like something that almost nobody wants instead of it being something that like the majority would want. And then the skins they, what do you call it? The skins, like the few cool license skins they do have are like the Ashoka skin or whatever, where she's like, you have to wait till mid-season and it's basically like, yeah, you know, like, I don't know, like she's not just in the battle pass right away, so you can't just go clear the pass and get her and just be done with it. No, you have to wait till like a certain point in the season and like.
So let me ask you this: is there a skin you think would have performed better? Like, is there a suggested skin that you think would have been better for this battle pass than the?
Well, yeah. It honestly, like last season they had the Luchador chick, right? And in between the seasons they released Becky and Bianca. Why not have them be the pass like people? You have Becky be the tier 100 skin, and you have Bianca be the like bonus skin that's like mid-season.
Which I think that the reason they might not have done that is because I think releasing skins in the store at this point is more of a raw money maker for them than it is for getting the battle pass. Because I think everyone kind of saves up the 1,000 V-Bucks it takes to get the battle pass. So that's already like the people who are getting the battle pass kind of already are getting it for free at this point. Like I don't know anyone who doesn't just save the 1,000 who buys more V-Bucks. about the
I
battle
mean,
pass
I
every time.
occasionally do it if I literally didn't save any, but like I know the next, or they just released one of those $4 packs, and with the free V-Bucks
Hmm.
and what I already have saved up plus that, I can just get the
Hmm.
pass, and then like when I get the pass, I'll actually be getting like like almost 2 times as much as I would have just that I am. You know what I mean? Because I get 600 out
Yeah.
of the thing, and I think total you get like 1,200 with the pass or whatever, like however much it
So with
is.
that being said, and it being the just not the raw moneymaker it was back when they first started doing the battle pass system, I think that maybe that's why they're not focusing on getting the best skins in the battle pass. But if that is the case, I think that that would be hurting them in the long run because you want that tier 100 skin to kind of be the best skin in the battle pass and the best skin in that season entirely. That way, people want to play the game and grind more, and therefore see the other skins in the shop and want to spend more money. Because at the end of the day, that's how they're going to make money. Um,
Oh
and
yeah, I
maybe
think
at the end of the day, it was just a really bad marketing play on what they did with the Battle Pass this time. Who's to say?
it just seems like whoever's running it now, how do I put it? It's like whoever's running the ideas for the passes or whatever, they're
Mhm.
completely like, um, it's like it's not almost like it's not the same people. It's like it's somebody who's like, how do I put it? It's like the meme of Steve Buscemi when he's like he's like dressed up as a high school and it's like, hey, fellow teenagers. That's how it seems. It seems
Mhm.
like somebody trying to like, oh, this will be cool, and they just pick somebody who was like a meme a year ago to be on the pass, and it's like, yeah, he would have probably been great on the pass when he was still a meme.
Yeah. Um. And I think at the end of the day, the true thing that's causing the decline of Fortnite in general is probably just at this point stale gameplay. They can't change up the core aspects of the game, and that's what's getting stale is the core aspects of the game. Um,
Granted, the Unreal 5 changed, did change it up, but you are right. The core aspects and the gameplay
well, yeah,
really.
but
I
the
I think
Unreal
the
5
only
really
thing you
changed
could,
the looks and the feel of movement and stuff, but the core aspects of the game is still
I think the
the
only
survive
like
to the last one remaining and shoot people with guns.
I think the only thing you could really add, and it's only again maybe like a temporary fix, is they could do like a first person mode.
And that could be interesting.
Add in a and maybe make multiple maps to play on, where like you can either pick what map you want to, or do like PUBG, you can load into a random map. Like there's little things they could do, but you're right. It's that core aspect of being stuck as a battle royale, where like, and that's maybe where they should have when they were making the money on the battle royale instead of abandoning Save the World, gotten feedback of what could make it better, and then
mhm.
kept it going.
Yeah,
Not that I
because
love
Save the
Save the
World
World, but
definitely fell off very shortly after Battle Royale blew up. I don't think
I think
I
for
know
Save the
anyone who still
World,
talks about or plays Save the World.
and
Um,
and I feel like talking about Save the World is relevant because it is part of Fortnite, so it is fair to talk
and that's
about.
fair.
I think part of what hurts Save the World, in my opinion, or what would have made it better, is if they would have taken out that weird base and all that system, and they would have just
Hmm.
given you the same map you get for the Battle Royale, and you're
Hmm.
basically just you pick a place, build your base there out of materials, and then you have to obviously go to different locales and fight off hordes or whatever. Kind of the same idea, but don't make it all how it is, because the way it was just very not fun, and then it was also designed in a way that after a certain point, if you don't have other people playing with you, it's almost impossible.
Yeah, and I definitely have felt that because I think I've played more Save the World than you have. Because I played it quite a bit, trying to grind V-Bucks and stuff. Back when you could still get a decent amount of V-Bucks from just logging in every day and stuff. Um, and Save the World to me, I liked its base mechanics. I do just think that the issue is it did become very codependent on other people to play it, and it doesn't really get many updates because it became their secondary game mode.
And then also on top of it, not just that, but they not just the codependent on needing other people, but it gets very like, I don't know if this is the right word. It kind of starts to get stale because like there isn't much to it. It's just go to location, fight horde, like set traps. You know what I mean? Like they don't. It's like the and don't get me wrong, I love this game, but you understand if you play the more modern ones where there's more to do. It's like playing the OG originals COD zombies, where all you're doing is like fixing windows and killing zombies. Like it was fun, but like comparatively, like to ones with like more objectives and stuff, it's like you get what I mean. It's like it like
Hmm.
it feels like it didn't grow. It just kind of took that formula of like OG COD zombies,
Yeah,
and
which
that was
the
the
reason COD Zombies and you're gonna get me talking about this was something. You're gonna get me talking about COD Zombies, and it's not a
well
good thing to
you'll
get me talking about because
well
I'm gonna
you can
gush.
you can go to
Uh,
COD zombies when we talk about COD here.
yeah, okay, yeah.
But I mean, we
Uh,
can talk about what's like going on with it too. I'm not.
yeah, well, okay. Let me just. The reason COD, the original COD, felt that way, like the original COD Zombies felt that way, is because it wasn't supposed to exist. When the developers were making that mode, they made it as a joke. Like they were just making it in their off time, goofing around. And when management actually found out about it, they got in trouble until management played it and were like, "Okay, we can put this at the end of the campaign because this is kind of fun as a little Easter egg." And that's what they did. But now let's get off of that real quick because I will talk forever.
You go on a
Um,
tangent and I get you. But yeah,
uh,
you're right. The core gameplay of like the Fortnite Battle Royale, it's never gonna change. So the decline's gonna happen until they can figure something out, or
yeah,
they come out with like a battle pass that's like actually feels worth it, or a new way of doing battle passes or something. Because I will admit, like adding in new quests and stuff like they have has been nice. Like they have like these survivor medals, like this one I'm on now. Like the last one I have to do, I have to reach the final 5 with 3 limbs. Like those are cool. Like having the NPCs and stuff to talk to in the story, like that's
mhm,
cool. But like you're right, at the end of the day, it's still like a battle royale, and like it's like you guys got to figure you have one game mode you lean on, and you can't lean
mhm,
on it forever. Maybe adding in like, and I know it's gonna sound crazy, but maybe adding in like condensed modes wouldn't be bad. Like have like TDM and stuff, but not the huge TDM. I'm talking like COD style ones where maybe you're just given a spot on the map. Like say they give you the like mega city, and it has like the storm circle
yeah,
around it, so you can't leave, and you just like have to fight in a TDM, and it's like 2 teams, and like, but
yeah,
I don't know, like that, like if they added more modes maybe like that, it could help it because there would be more variety. But you're right, until they could find a way to do more variety, I don't see the decline of Fortnite really ever stopping. Even if they made a
yeah.
second one, I don't think that would save it. God, it's crazy to think the game's been out as long as it has.
Yeah. Do you want to segue on to our next topic?
Overwatch, yeah, we can go to Overwatch now because that would
Yeah.
probably.
Because Overwatch is kind of an interesting one to me. Now, I don't play Overwatch, and I know you played a lot of like Overwatch before it was Overwatch 2. Um,
Heck, I played up until like last year actually,
yeah.
or like
Uh,
almost right up until the point because I tried to get back into it for a little while, but it's just, uh
yeah. And obviously Overwatch 1, it
it was good when it came
it
out.
died. It fully they were like, "Oh crap, we're not making enough money on this. We need to launch Overwatch 2." And then they like took away Overwatch 1 and it was super messy. And um I wish I could see Overwatch 1's statistics all the way back to 2016, but I genuinely cannot find them. Uh so I can only find
Me too.
Overwatch 1's player count. Uh,
And then there's, I mean, And I guess this can kind of be lumped in. To me, the way Overwatch went is it kind of just... It's like it started out really good. It felt like everybody who played any kind of shooter could get on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know why, but they tried to like alienate certain fan bases because I don't know.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to say it's because a lot of people say it's because it's a very, I don't really like to use this term, but a lot of people call their fan base, like, woke. And I don't know if I'd call it that. But they, I know their fan base is very, like, they try to be very, like, PC and stuff, and so people attribute it to that, but I don't think that's what made the meta and stuff so, like, trash. I feel like they really didn't want certain, like it seemed like they were purposely trying to alienate like COD players, you know, bigger like FPS players, like.
Well, it felt like with that, it feels like they did like at first have the idea of including like because it was very much when Overwatch first came out, it was supposed to be FPS like a first-person shooter, but very different, not your typical first-person shooter. And when it came out, that's what it was. That's why everyone gushed over it. That's why everyone seemed to love it. Is because we had so many repeats of other first-person shooters and things were getting very bland in that department, and they come out with this game mode where every player has it, like every character you pick has a different ability, has a different feel, has a different play style, and if you liked that base first-person shooter, there was a character for you. It's called Soldier 76, you know. So it feels like it was a very like new and fresh idea when it first came out, because I still remember how excited people got when it was first coming out.
Well, and I think too, like it kind of did the same thing that Rainbow Six Siege did, which I feel like this game could easily fall in that same list of the others. Is it like it was supposed to be different from your traditional COD, or like it was supposed to be a more tactical shooter, but then it just like it got a little too big for itself, and then they were trying to incorporate all this like, hey, let's have like basically it's like they were like, hey, like we're gonna do the stuff Fortnite's doing and have like battle pass, and like we're gonna have like zany skins in, and like it's not going to be this like...
I think that can be accompanied with a lot of different games that we're talking about here. The Battle Pass idea you see in so many games now that just didn't need it. Because I think Overwatch's system before the Battle Pass was fun. I know there's a lot of debate about loot crates, and and if they're bad, if they're gambling...
But to be fair, Overwatch's loot crate system was a little more fair than others because you got a crate every time you ranked up. So all you had to do was rank up to get your crates.
I think the correct way to do loot crates is don't let people buy them. Make them rewards only.
Yeah, because I think that's what the Hot Wheels game did, is you unlock everything via loot crate, but no loot crates are purchasable. It's all, they're all, like, you, like, get loot crates for doing races. And I think the better you perform, the better the loot crate. So it's like, do that, because that's one thing I miss from just games in general, is like, why can't I just unlock items? Like, what happened to the days where I just unlock an item? Like, why has it got to be an additional purchase, or...
And on the topic of Overwatch 2 here, looking at Overwatch 2's player count's very fun here, because you can see when Overwatch 2 first came out, everyone was very much, rightfully so, hating on it, and then it kind of like, over the next 4 or 5 months, peaking at February, people started actually getting into it, and I think that's when it was at its peak of like people like being like, okay, this is different enough from Overwatch 1 to where I kind of like it. At 26 million, which, mind you, is topping anywhere near where Overwatch, like that's colossally over where Overwatch 1 was during this time period of the last like 4 or 5 years. Like since like 2018, Overwatch 1 hasn't seen these numbers. Right after February, it's been a steady decline again. Right now at 23 million. which is better than where they
Hi,
started,
doggo.
but it's getting close. And
Silly dog,
there's
say
a
hi.
lot of things I think could
I don't want to
could be accompanying this drop again. Mind you, the accusations, not accusations. I think they're basically proven.
The
I don't
misconduct
think basically
in
the
Activision Blizzard.
misconduct. There you go. Thank you for saving my brain from trying to figure out what I needed to say there. But yes, the misconduct and the events that happened at Activision Blizzard came out, and there's definitely been a steady fall of players since then, rightfully so. So that definitely did not help.
What's kind of scary, not to segue there, but to talk about it, it's like Activision Blizzard as a whole. Because you're talking about Overwatch, and World of Warcraft is, I mean, it's not dead in any capacity, but it definitely doesn't thrive as high as it did back when MMOs were, at their peak. And then, we'll get to it later, but COD is obviously, even though it still sells gangbusters creatively, I would say it's kind of hit the same decline. But like the allegations definitely, especially when your game has, again, like I said, their community is a lot more like politically correct and like not conservative, progressive. They tend to try to be more progressive. So you have stuff like that going in your company, and then that's your fan base. You're basically like, you know what I mean? Like that fan base is just going to turn against you. There's no way they're not.
Absolutely. And I think that we'll see what happens in these next coming months, because the Microsoft acquisition did go through, and
I have high
they
hopes for
now
that.
own Activision Blizzard, which is very cool for a lot of reasons, and we'll see if that has any effect on Overwatch. Right now, I don't think it has yet, and it's been over a month or two now. But, sometimes it takes some time for things to fully set in and kick in, so we'll see how that goes.
I think with that, as soon as they get certain higher-ups out, I'm not going to say names, even though I think if you know the name of a certain higher-up, you know exactly who I'm referring to. His initials are the same as Burger King.
We're being very vague here.
But if we can get certain people like that out of the company, which I know Microsoft will probably do right from the start, I think that the company, like, and some of the decline in their games might be fixed. Especially because, like, if Starfield's an example of, like, Microsoft, because they were the ones that told Bethesda, don't release it early, release it when it's done, don't do what you did with Fallout 76.
Yeah.
Release it like you did with Fallout 3 or Skyrim. And I mean, look, so and so that's one high hope I have, because maybe they'll get in there, and they already told Activision and Call of Duty to fix the servers, so maybe they'll get in there and they'll tell Overwatch, hey, you need to fix this, because you had like a thriving player base, and it's nothing near what it was when the game came out.
Yeah, and I always hope the best for games like this. I don't personally play Overwatch, but me and you both know people who do.
And I don't ever wish any game to like die like that either,
absolutely.
because it's, at the end of the day, you want especially for like any other first-person shooter, if you're a fan of like COD, Battlefield, you want these games to somewhat do well or like exist, because it's just like in pro wrestling, you want there to be other companies or competitors, because it forces like everyone to do better if there's some form of competition between the businesses.
Absolutely.
So I feel like for this next segue, like, we're going to talk about maybe more of mid-tier, like other games, like a good one would be to start with, obviously, like, and we mentioned a few right now a minute ago, but Among Us would be like, I would say, a mid-tier game. It's not AAA, but it made an impact. Now I would call it a Titan at this point because like even it got to the point where even Fortnite was trying to copy it. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Fortnite was trying to copy it, and it definitely beat out your expectations. Because I remember when it first came out, you were like, "This is gonna be gone within a month." Uh,
it did last longer. I
so
think it's even getting a cartoon series, but I think from the
it is,
initial
and from
like,
what I understand, it is getting a bit of a resurgence right now. Um,
which is
uh,
good. I mean, it's good
yeah,
to
which is
see a
always good.
game pull
Uh,
itself out of
but
the
the thing
decline.
with Among Us is, at the end of the day, I think the reason Among Us got popular is because was bored of everything else, and this little game was just
Well,
like, hey,
and
a person or two just saw it and was like, hey, this is interesting, and it kind of created a ripple effect of every large content creator talking about it, and that kind of caused it to blow up. And
and I
uh,
think also it had a good timing. Like you're right, the content creators, but I think one of the things that
oh,
really helped it.
it was nothing about timing, dude. Among Us came out in like 2016. It just
Oh
never
no,
got
no,
popular.
I mean the content creators finding it because if you remember, right before it got big, Fall Guys was like supposed to be the next big
Hmm.
thing, but they messed up and
Yeah.
didn't update it fast enough, and everyone got
Hmm.
bored, and then somebody decided like, hey, I'm gonna play this on stream instead.
Yeah.
And like that's why, because
And
if Among Us would have, I'm pretty sure, or not Among Us, if Fall Guys would have come out with their update when they were supposed to, I don't know if like Among Us would have never gotten as big, but I think they would have been that would have been like a big like
yeah,
rivalry, so to
and
speak.
I feel like Among Us was a very weird anomaly in the gaming community where it's like it wasn't a big triple like A release. It wasn't like this indie game that had a cult following that people were excited about. It was just this game that released and then blew up out of nowhere. Like years and years later. I don't know many games that this happened that has ever happened with, if any others have happened that way, where it like genuinely got a huge following
Way
after
after the
it,
release,
like
yeah.
way after its release. Like, because there's
It's
definitely games that had like a super small, no one talked about release, and then it got like a little bit of a cult following, but nothing as big as what happened with Among Us, I don't think.
I would say it reminds me of those YouTube videos that like become viral and like they've been on YouTube for years, but then someone finds
And
it
they
and
just
it's
all
like
of a sudden
weird or
pop
something and
out,
they
and it's
meme
like,
it, yeah, and it just pops off. Like,
yeah. Or sometimes YouTube's algorithm just decides to lead people a certain path, and a YouTube video will just randomly blow up.
yeah,
Um,
because
yeah,
it
and that's a very fair thing to say, comparing it to that. Um, I think Among Us is something where, like, it was definitely fun for the time where it was popular, but then they kind of tried to like capitalize on it, which is fair, like capitalize on it. Um, but they just kept releasing little like skins for it, you know what I mean? And it very quickly, I think it like, because it wasn't like they were updating it themselves. It felt like after it blew up, the creators of Among Us were like, "Oh, sick! People are like buying this game like crazy. We're gonna like just start working on an update." But before it could ever get updated, it had an advantage that Fall Guys didn't have, where it got picked up by the modding community, and it got a bunch of insane mods where you would have people who are detectives, and it added so much more to the game. And then I think, if I remember correctly, Among Us ended up adding essentially the framework for that mod just into the base game. Um,
no, yeah,
and
and
around
that
that time
definitely
is when I
helps.
stopped hearing about Among Us. Was like after they had released that update. Like I felt like it slowed down, which is weird. Because you would have thought that that would have uh, you would have thought that that would have like kept the game alive, but it feels almost like after people saw that the update they released was just what the mod was already doing, but a little bit worse. All it really added was like 15 player mode, and that was like the big difference, which was cool. People were like, okay, we can move from this. We have other games to talk about, other games to cover.
Yeah, I don't think it like. At the end of the day, I don't know. Among Us it's in a weird place, and I think
Yeah.
if it can like get a resurgence, that's great. I don't hope it anything but
Maybe
like good
someday
things for it, but
maybe someday we can play a game of Among Us, you know?
yeah, exactly.
Maybe
Among
someday
Us.
we'll have a game of Among Us on stream and figure out what we can do next from there.
I mean, there's like I said, there's like the games we're talking about now. They're not the only they're not the only ones in the world that have a decline. Because like I
Yeah.
said, there's numerous like Rainbow Six, like I mentioned. Hell, I would say Mario Party is kind of in that boat. Like, because I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but in one of the more recent Mario Party games, I guess they took out or they made it so every character has like their own individual set of like dice, and like
Yeah,
they
that's
can
been a
only
thing
roll.
for a little bit, I
Yeah,
think.
and I was telling Chaz because he
Well,
was
you
the
can
one that.
still choose the normal dice. You don't have
Oh,
to use
okay,
those
okay,
dice.
because he was telling me about that, and I was like, well, who did that? Because that sounds like you're focusing on the wrong thing.
No,
Like,
that's actually a very fun aspect of Mario Party. I've played that Mario Party.
I
It's a
just
very
feel
fun
like
Mario Party.
that the person that focuses on the like game board and the dice isn't
Hmm.
realizing that the mini games are like a big part of it, and that's what a lot of people. It's like, not to say there's anything
I
wrong
feel
with
like the
having
mini
those
games
things.
are as alive and ever on Mario Party, man.
I don't know.
Um,
I know like people don't like go crazy for Mario Party like they used to, and I think it's these little things because at the end of the day, the dice
I
might be
think the
cool, but
reason people don't go crazy and talk about Mario Party like that is because Mario Party is just kind of recognized as, ooh, a new Mario Party, cool, that's going to be a party game we have.
yeah, but
I
like
think a lot of people
people
just
go
kind of
crazy for
base
like
it.
Mario Kart and Smash still.
Yeah,
I'm
but
just
it
saying
also,
the
Mario
reason I
Party
was
is one of the most rage-inducing games on the planet, so it kind of
and
falls into
so is
almost a Monopoly
so
feeling.
is don't tell me Mario Kart is not also rage inducing when somebody blue shells you.
Bro, just stay in second place until the end.
But what I was gonna say is with Mario Party, the whole dice thing and like doing that stuff, there's nothing wrong with it. But to me, it feels like the same as people who like they. It feels like people who I'm sorry, what was I gonna say? It feels like somebody if they played Pokemon and they thought the like main reason somebody played it was to walk around the map. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, no, but I don't think that the reason they did that, like, that's just a little flavor thing they wanted to add because it gives every character their own feeling of individuality. It gives you a reason to pick who you pick.
I
You
guess
know what I mean?
I feel like you're focusing on the wrong thing in that case. But I mean, to each their
Well,
own.
you don't have to change one thing per game. Like that's not the only thing they change when they like make new
No, I
games,
get it.
man.
It's
You
just
can have multiple little things. Like it feels like you're nitpicking one aspect of a whole game. Um, how did we start talking about Mario Party? That
because
wasn't
we
even.
were mentioning other games that are on their decline. We're just kind of listing some.
Yeah.
God, this has probably been my worst game of Fortnite here. God, how is this guy still shooting me?
Well, you brought up a game earlier that I want to talk about more. Because
Call
I
of
have a
Duty.
lot of. Yes, it's Call of Duty, and the reason I want to talk about it is because I have a very strong foot in this door.
Oh, that's fine. We
You
can
know, if
talk
there's
about
any
Call of
game
Duty.
I have, if there's any game I have like genuine reason to talk about, it's Call of Duty. Because for those of you who do not know, I have a YouTube channel where I just post COD
Go
videos.
ahead and tell people what it's called.
It's Simple Thunder on YouTube. It is that's
Wonderful,
it.
guys.
Simple
He's
Thunder
a
on YouTube.
and tell them about
Uh,
his TikTok so they can check you out there too.
oh yeah, Simple Thunder on TikTok as well. Uh,
Just,
it's
you know,
essentially Simple Thunder on most media websites. Um, but with that being said, COD's a game I've played my whole life. Like, it's one of my first ever video games was Call of Duty World at War. which, funny enough, is the Call of Duty that you actually pointed out earlier, talking about the original COD Zombies. Um, and I think everyone kind of knows COD's been at a decline for forever. I would say the last COD that really has been an uptick was probably Black Ops 3. Like, I
Yeah, that's
think
the
ever
last time
since
I
Black
remember
Ops 3,
everybody like kind of being hyped for the same COD.
I think after Black Ops 3, there's been a lot of good CODs since Black Ops 3. Don't get me wrong, but they always seem to be good after the fact. Like World War II. That's a COD that me and you played a lot together. After it had after its fan base and stuff had
After
kind
its
of like moved to
lifespan,
the
kind of.
next COD. Yeah, after its lifespan. That's a great way to put it. After its lifespan, me and you played a lot of World War II together, and it was very fun after the fact. And
God
that
damn
seems
it.
to be that seems to be the constant
You guys were
issue
pursuing me.
with CODs as a whole recently. Is it feels like people don't start liking them until after the fact, and the reason they don't start liking them until after the fact is because the new game is just that much worse every time.
Well, and obviously I
And
know
that's a
this next
sad
one.
thing.
I know this next one they had a couple years to work on, but I think that's the problem sometimes when you release
No, this next one
unfinished games.
they've only had 1 year to work on.
Oh, or
This one
whichever
has
one.
been one of the short. In
Whichever.
fact, I think it's genuinely been the shortest release between, other than I guess
Okay,
Cold
which
War.
one was? Is it the one
Uh,
after it that's supposed to have the longest?
yeah, the one after
Okay.
that's supposed to have like 4 or 5 years in development from Treyarch, which is personally, obviously, I'm not going to speak factually about it because it's a personal opinion. But personally, I think the best development team already, and they're getting a super long amount of time to develop it. So I'm very hopeful for, I think, what is been leaked as Call of Duty Gulf War, which is interesting, I guess. Uh, but like at the end of the day, all of COD's game modes in the last couple of years have just become this almost copy and paste of what was before. It feels like we are constantly losing features with COD, and then they'll return these features a couple years after the fact as new features, but they're not new features. They're features we had back in 2013, 14, 12. Like, they're features we already had in much older CODs, and they're the reasons these CODs were so big and popular. And they remove these features and then they add them back like, hey, new feature. And it's like, this isn't a new feature. You aren't doing anything new. You're just reskinning the same game.
And I don't understand. Like, if you can't come up with anything new, just stop taking stuff out. Just put everything that you've ever had that's good in the game, and then just like make better maps and like time periods, guns,
They need
whatever.
to stop. They need to just stop releasing
Actually,
content.
no, yeah, like and actually make new maps. That'd be nice instead of just reskinning maps for each game because that gets old real fast.
Yeah, and I'm very hopeful for Modern Warfare 3. Should I be hopeful for Modern Warfare 3? No, but I am. I'm very hopeful for
I
Modern
mean,
Warfare 3.
it's like every
Um,
WWE game. I get excited and I'm hopeful, but I know deep down, aside from like a handful of them, because it's funny as everything you were saying about COD could apply to like WWE games. Um, it's like I don't ever want one to release like 2K20 did, where it was awful. But at the
mhm.
same time, it's like I have that hope in that, but I kind of deep down know like there's a like more than good chance it's going to be mediocre to bad. Like
Yeah,
that's why I don't
and
pre-order games anymore because I think the best way to teach these guys is like, hey, if you're not guaranteed the sale and you have to sit there like biting your nails before the game comes out, wondering if you're going to sell copies. To me, that's a lot more effective than, hey, let's pre-order it and then complain after they already have our money.
yeah, and that's probably the correct way to do it. I will not lie to you. Uh, to me, though, when it comes to specifically COD, uh, I think there is something brewing in the air in the COD community, because I think most people have finally come to the same consensus that if we get disappointed one more time, like we're just not going to buy the next COD game, and I hope that consensus stays the case.
And I don't think with COD they really like fundamentally that game. It's not like Fortnite or like a lot of the other ones where like it's in the rut of like, oh, you can't really change because it doesn't need the core game to be changed. It can be like
No,
because there was a point where every COD game felt fresh compared to the last one because they don't have just one game mode and they can innovate. Like I remember what was it, Black Ops 3 had like that. It was like that mode where you have to defend the robot. And then I think they had that mode where you threw the ball in the like circle or something. I don't remember, but like,
yeah, COD has a lot of fun, goofy mini games that are really fun to play, and they always have been. But the thing that gets me is like with new CODs and stuff, it feels like their answer is always to remove, not to add. You know what I mean? Like Modern Warfare 2 came out, right? And looking at not even the game before Modern Warfare 2, which was Vanguard, or before Vanguard, which Vanguard's a whole other can of beans. But not even before Vanguard, which was Cold War. Like looking back all the way to 2019, Modern Warfare 2019, right?
yeah.
Modern Warfare 2019 had a lot of problems, but one thing I think people consistently enjoyed was the feeling of like how you slid and how you moved. The movement of that game, and that was the movement that got put into Warzone, right? And I think we all know how well Warzone did. And one of Warzone's big...
Smashing it, kind of, still.
Not Warzone 2. Everyone hates Warzone 2. But we'll talk about that in a second. Everyone really enjoyed Warzone 1 when it came out, right? And one of the big things that people liked about Warzone 1 was that movement. But when they made Modern Warfare 2, and with Modern Warfare 2 Warzone 2, they removed all forms of those movements. You can still slide, but you can't shoot while you slide. Slide canceling, reload canceling, all these like advanced features that made a very large skill gap, which a lot of people enjoyed, because it was one of those things where it's like if you just had more skill, you were probably going to win the fight you were in, right? So
no, exactly. Yeah, I get you.
There was a genuine skill gap where it wasn't just I hope my gun does enough. I hope I have the better gun. Like there definitely was still a lot of like metas and stuff, but even just that gap right there, like they removed the movement. They didn't add on to anything. And it seems to always be their answer. It's just to remove, remove, remove. They removed the prestige system. That's what made COD feel so fresh to me, was the fact that playing a COD game, once I got kind of bored of having every gun and being like, okay, there's no grind for me anymore, I could just prestige my account, and then I had the whole level grind again. That's not a thing anymore.
Oh, I know I was going to get clapped.
And that's very upsetting on itself, the prestige system being removed. And the thing about COD in general is obviously there's a lot of different game modes with the base multiplayer, and then the majority of CODs have zombies. And zombies also has been on a bit of a decline. I would say not as large of a decline as multiplayer has been in the past couple of years, because I know a lot of people still get a lot of enjoyment out of zombies. I would say the zombies which I guess the most recent zombies technically was Vanguard, which no one really enjoyed, I don't think. So even that's really been on a heavy decline. And it's just sad to see, as someone who enjoys that game so much, for things to just always be removed.
Well, even someone like me who used to play him like heavily between like 2007 and like 2010 probably 2011. Like I used to love Call of Duty. I remember getting off work, like just going on COD, like just having the time of my life, like either with friends or if I needed to just zone out, put on some music and just go on and play like hardcore TDM and do, like just have a good time. Yeah. And then like now it's like,
and you could laugh at the trash talk in the lobbies.
No, yeah,
Like
you could
they're
definitely. What's up, Dylan? You could definitely you could definitely go through. I don't know. It was a much better experience back then. Like,
absolutely, and I think that that's like the main downfall with COD as a whole has to be just the fact that it's been a copy and paste over these last couple years, and
it's
it feels like they're
essentially
always catering towards like camping. You know what I mean? Like they're
well, and it's
catering
essentially
towards like
the problem. Like it's become the same as just having an annual sports game for first person shooters. It's the same thing as like, you know what I mean? Like, they can up the
Mhm.
graphics, they can do all that, but essentially at the end of the day, like, unless you give the team like a couple years to actually work on it, they can't really come up with anything new because it's like you only have a year, and so it's just easier to cut and paste and then like try to tweak a few things than it is to actually come up with like a whole new engine or because there's not
Yeah,
much you
because
can
it's
do in a
sad.
year.
And well, like yeah, they just need different to do, like to stop releasing it every year. I completely agree with that. But it's also sad to see how they responded to the modding community for old COD games and like SM2, I think it was called, which was supposed to be this big built engine that was getting built, where they like sent a bunch of cease and desist notices to all these different like com communities and stuff for games that they weren't even capitalizing on, mind you, because this was stuff for like Black Ops 1 on computer, Black Ops 2 on computer, Modern Warfare 2, things like that, right?
Yeah, I gotcha.
And they
The
sent a bunch
same.
of cease and desists, uh, and it's wild to look at that and how intimidated they were by that because of the fact that they were getting more, like, people were more interested in that than the new games they were releasing every year. And I think Rockstar handled their modding community a lot better than uh, than Activision did there. Because when Activision saw this modding community, they got intimidated by it. Rockstar straight up embraced it. Rockstar
Except
recently
they went
bought.
after. Except they went after their modding community recently when they did those remasters.
Well, no, you saw what they did, right? They bought the whole modding community for the RP and stuff, and are like giving them more resources to do what they're doing. They like purchased the companies that were doing it.
I gotcha.
You have any more to say about this?
Like COD or what?
Just in general, we're coming up on almost the hour mark.
I mean, at this point, I think we've covered most of the main topic. You know, it's
Yeah,
sad to see like this decline in a lot of big games, and it's refreshing to
absolutely.
have stuff like Stardew and some of these indie titles, and hopefully like maybe the more people lean into that stuff, that we won't have this like maybe it'll get these bigger companies to realize like, hey, people want like variety. They don't just want the same crap all the time because
Yeah,
that's
and I
really
think that
all we're
really is
getting.
the issue. Is like with all the games that we've talked about, other than like Among Us, it's been like if you notice, they're they're all repeating the same process over and over again.
And the thing is, they all started out with like being somewhat innovative, and then they looked at what
Mhm.
like worked, and instead of continuing to innovate, they're like, hey, like let's just lock ourselves into this. Like,
Absolutely,
yeah, it's interesting, and I think this is a topic we can come back to later. It doesn't have to.
absolutely. And with other games inevitably coming out and stuff, we can give reactions on other things
Especially with
in
like
this topic.
yeah, especially with this year
Yeah,
having a lot
because
of good releases. There'll be a lot to talk about coming
absolutely.
up.
And maybe we can cover the nice side of gaming next time. There's a lot to talk about there with how great Baldur's Gate 3 and stuff
Yeah, we
was.
got Baldur's Gate and Starfield stuff we can talk about.
Yeah, which I haven't got to see or talk or like do any playing with Starfield yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, and I'll have Baldur's Gate tomorrow, which
Yeah,
we'll definitely have a video coming with that. talking about the issues people have with the whole gender options and stuff in gaming, but that'll be the next episode. Anyway, if you're joining us on Twitch, thanks for joining us, and if you're checking us out on YouTube, thank you also. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and leave a comment. See you guys later. You want to say bye, Simple?
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.